you believe in and what you're promoting without the fear of having your platform taken down. And I love Anchor specifically because it is a platform that's allowing me to show who I truly am and an opportunity to get things that I want to say out to the public without risk of backlash and getting my hand slapped with probation and things of that nature. So if you want to give Anchor a try, this is the time. You can soar with your stories and your podcast. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on in today. Thank you for tuning in to the Battles Within Life podcast. And I'm your host, Keshana Woods Lee. Today we have our co-host, Isaiah. How you doing today, Isaiah?
I'm doing really great today.
Good to hear that. Now, today our topic is going to be reptilian humanoids, humans with horns, and that tribe with the ostrich feet. We're going to be talking about human genetics, cloning, splicing, and this goes all the way back to our ancient Egypt. Now, we were looking at some hieroglyphics, and it looks like they have some humanoids with different faces of different animals, some different animal body parts. I'm looking at a man with a dog face, and I'm looking at another man with a cheetah or leopard feet and chest, alligator head. And what kind of body is that? Is that like a pig body or something?
I know. Okay. That's not a pig body, but if you go closer, it's actually a bear body because it's brown.
Wow. So you have these pictures of all these hieroglyphs with all of these what appears to be genetic mutations of human types. Now, what do you think about this picture of ancient Egypt hieroglyphs with all these different people with different animal faces and stuff?
I think they're really nice, but they created it. There was one man who actually created all these people and animals, whatever they call, but he created them. I don't know why.
Wow. So you think someone actually created those beings? You don't think it was like in someone's imagination and they drew it? You think these were beings that actually existed?
Yeah, I think they existed because they probably made something out of their minds and created it and put it outside of a desert or something, I don't know where, and they probably created the animals. They probably cut the head off, the body off, and they probably put them together, glued them, and put them in electronic or something.
That sounds really crazy and diabolical, but anything is possible. They say there's nothing new under the sun. You know that, Isaiah?
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at some other things that we did some research on that I think was related to the ancient Egyptian humanoid experiments. Now, they're saying that looking at this alien project, I'm not sure if this is a fictional experimental or something that actually happened. Go ahead, Isaiah.
The alien picture?
Yes.
So the alien picture is actually real because I know it's real because they created it. I saw it on a show one day. They created it. It was terrifying.
Terrifying? Why was it terrifying?
Because they went into space all the way and found aliens, which don't exist anymore. They cut their heads off and put them on a human body, I think.
Wow, that sounds like some wild experience.
Then they made them as, I don't know, probably like as a human face so people won't know or something.
Well, here I'm looking at an article on the Alien Project, And it says a humanoid reptile species. It says one of these species has been described as a humanoid reptile because of its appearance with terrestrial reptilian species. About 10 specimens have been studied by the Nkari Cusco Institute between 2017 and 2018. The following anatomical features are noted. The three-fingered hands and feet are not distortions listed in the modern medical literature in the event of possible congenital disease. The skeletons of the hands and feet are anthropometrically correlated. Macrocephalic skulls show no evidence of artificial mechanical pressure to produce this elongation. These species does not have any dentition or eye flag, no hair at all. The neck may be retractable. The body have neither mammary glands nor umbilical scars to attach this species to mammals. The number of ribs is variable following species from 8 to 11. The specimens studied by the Nkari Cusco Institute team measure between 47 centimeters and 60.5 centimeters. This species has an oval-shaped macrocephalic head, lengthened towards the back, larger at the front. Its front part is ended with a pointed form. The upper part of the skull has 3 ridges or crests without any hair. Neither nasal septum nor ear flag are observable, but X-rays showed a middle ear internal. The forearm magnum or occipital forearm is square-shaped. No other listed terrestrial species has this anatomical feature. It is located in the second corneal fossa in the center of the base of the skull and not of the rear floor as the Homo sapiens or gorillas. So just looking at this, what do you think about looking at this diagram of this skeleton that they found of what is to be believed to be a reptilian humanoid? What do you think about these pictures out there?
I think they're actually skeletons, but they're not. It looks very creepy too. I don't really like it, but I hate the skeleton bodies. I think they never should exist.
If you saw someone or something that looked like that, would you be afraid?
No, I will not be afraid, but if I'm actually afraid, I'll get a sniper out and kill them. I think only if they're
Why
bad.
would you want to kill them? You don't even know if they're evil or good.
I don't know.
You would kill them just because of how they look?
No, I wouldn't kill them because how they look. I would just know if they're creatures. I know they're creatures, but if they come and attack, people will start killing them.
What if you found out that this
was actually real?
Was you? What if you found out that this was you? Like, if you found out this is where you came from, how would you feel? If you found out you came from something or ancestor that looked like that?
I would feel sad.
Why would you feel sad?
Because I do not want people to see me. If they see me like that, they will be afraid, I think. I don't know.
I think that would be a test for us to really not judge a person by how they look, but by their spirit, if they're a good being or a bad being. Not just because they look different than we do. Would you agree?
I'll agree. And I like those animals and stuff, but they're really super nice.
But if they're evil, of course, you wouldn't want them
to be in our state or nothing. We will kill them for real.
But what if they're good?
We'll just let them go somewhere good, but they can't stay in our state.
What if some are bad and some are good?
I think because they're good, they're probably... Because I saw this on the show one day. Some people was acting good, but they're actually bad.
Right, because some people, they could trick you. Right, you got a good point with that. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Battles Within Life podcast. I'm your host, Kishana Woods-Lee. We want to thank our sponsor, Anchor, for sponsoring this episode of the Battles Within Life podcast. We also want to thank our other sponsor, House of Woods Publishing. Their latest publication, Corona Affected Pandemic USA, is available on Amazon Books. The author is Kay Woods. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Now, Isaiah, I have another humanoid species that is absolutely a real genetic aspect of the human genetics genome. So I'm looking at an article here from weirdhistorian.com, and this information is protected under fair use for the use of education and entertainment purposes. Now, I'm looking at it. It says, the article says, a brief and rather unpleasant history of human horns. Now, take a look at this, Isaiah. What do you see on that picture?
I see an old lady with a horn on top of her forehead. And if you go down a little bit.
No, we're not going to go down any further just yet. Let me go back up and we're going to learn about this lady with this horn in her head. It says, in 2015, 87-year-old Lang Jun from Xinjiang, China, visited doctors with a 5-inch horn growing from the top of her head. It reportedly began about 8 years prior as a black mole, but sometime in 2013, the mole cracked open and the horn began to sprout out. Doctors couldn't diagnose it, and shortly after it fell off. Then another horn took its place and grew much faster. This new growth was determined to be a continuous horn, which is composed of the same substance as fingernails, called keratin. Most cases are harmless, though. Doctors were hesitant to remove Lang's, fearing it might have been cancerous. Amazing as it sounds, Lang isn't alone in the world of human horns. In fact, other elders from China have made headlines in recent years with their own impressive growths. Amazing as it sounds, Lang isn't alone in the world of human horns. In fact, other elders from China have made headlines in recent years with their own impressive growths. In 2010, a 101-year-old Chinese grandmother named Xing Guofeng gained 15 minutes of fame for having 2 horns sprouting from her forehead. The first horn had measured nearly 2.5 inches, while the second had just begun to grow. While most would be less than pleased with such a development, she was reportedly thrilled about it and refused the offers to have the horns removed. Now, interesting enough, by this being a story that's showing that you actually have human beings who have horns growing on their head. Here's another case of Mr. Wang, a Chinese farmer from Manchuria, had a 13-inch horn protruding from the back of his head. Ripley's Believe It or Not featured this photo in 1930. You see his horn? What do you think about that?
I don't think it's really good, but that horn, I really don't like it. Because the way it's on his back of his head, he wouldn't be able to sleep or nothing.
That's true. He would have to sleep sitting up or laying on his stomach. Right. So, but he can't control it. It's just something that happened to him. It's just something that happened to him. And he shouldn't be judged because he has that horn growing out of his head. But back to the ancient Egyptian history. The ancient Egyptians could have just been capturing pictures of human beings that they saw with these different effects. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it could very well be that they could have been actually capturing people that look like that and that had been experimented on. And then later on down the line, those genetics were broken down and diluted, and most of those beings were eliminated from the earth. Go ahead.
I think they got both a virus, the old lady and the man. I think they got a virus from an infection somewhere.
So you think an infection caused those horns to grow?
That's what I'm thinking of. And I'm thinking of one animal that has a horn. It's a goat that has a horn. And a rhino. I'm not sure, but they have horns.
And a rhinoceros.
Yeah, I think they're the ones who caused the virus to it. If they touched it or something, they probably got infected by that.
It's possible. Now we're going to go to our next article, which is about another human genetic